Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about the last voyage of the Demeter. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Ooh, shoot. Uh, this is a movie about Dracula, I guess. I mean, as it says here, the legend of Dracula is born. I mean, Dracula is an iconic character in the world of horror. Everyone knows who he is, so I guess that gives this some brand recognition, I guess. It's a very loose brand recognition, but it's there. So I guess that's a pro. I guess another pro I can think of, kind of, is the fact that there's a lack of direct competition out there. I mean, I know there's Talk to Me, but that's 2 weeks old. That's officially old news. And the next horror movie coming out is The Nun 2, and that's not coming out till September. So there's no serious direct competition for a while. So I guess that's good. Can you tell I'm grasping at straws? Because I am. Alright, so that's another pro, and I give up. I can't think of anything remotely positive, to say about this besides the 2 points I've already made. So let's just go straight to the cons because this will be so much easier. Okay, cons. Reviews, not great. It has a 45% critic score, which is a hard mediocre, and no audience score. Literally, there's no audience score. It won't pop up. It's just blank, which I think is kind of concerning because usually I see like a score of some kind, before, when a movie like releases. Like usually there's something out there, but there's nothing. There's literally nothing. But we do have a cinema score though. We got that, and it's not great either. It's a B minus, the exact same score the Meg 2 got. Yep, the exact same score. But I guess, for horror movie standards, it's not too bad because horror movies have a rougher time with cinema score. So like a B minus is pretty average for the genre. If what did Talk to Me get? That was a B plus, which is actually above average. So yeah, I mean, like the Boogeyman that got a B minus. So like this score isn't bad for horror, but it's still not ideal. Nobody wears a B minus with a badge of honor unless you're in college, because if you're in college, you will be thankful for a B minus. Let me tell you. But yeah, so critic score not good. There's no audience score at all, and cinema score is not great. And the thing is, I had a feeling this would happen because the review embargo for this, it lifted so late. Like literally, it lifted like mere hours before the movie was set to be released publicly, like on Thursday for like previews and stuff. So whenever that happens, I have a bad feeling about it. This same thing happened with the Meg 2. I was just like, this is looking like a stinker potentially, and apparently it is. So yeah. So overall reaction not great. So that's a con. Another con is that this movie is suffering from, I guess, what one could describe as who gives a shit syndrome. like that's the main vibe I've been getting from this movie. Like nobody cares. This movie hasn't gotten any attention. No, not positive attention, not negative attention, nothing. It's been like no buzz, no energy, just dead air. It's pretty much what I saw with a Haunted Mansion 2 weeks ago, where nobody said nothing about it, and that movie suffered because of it. It just bombed completely, and I feel like the same is definitely gonna happen here. So yeah, but I mean, one could argue, I mean, sure, like you want positive attention, but like, well, this movie isn't getting negative attention. But even though sometimes negative attention is still attention. right? Like at least it's something. People are discussing the movie. It's getting PR. When you don't talk about it at all, when like you're just doomed at that point. You're just doomed to fail. So yeah, so no one talking about this movie, no one caring about this movie. That's a con. Another con is the pathetic ad campaign. I've seen no ads for this movie at all. Maybe one, but I don't. I don't. I'm not too sure about that. I've seen more ads for Strays, which comes out next week. So that should really tell you where Universal's money is going. But with this, it's very obvious they gave up. They just threw their hands in the air and just said, you know what, screw it, throw it out there. So yeah, and so yeah, weak marketing campaign. That's a con. Another con is that the marketplace right now. I mean, you got Barbie, you got Oppenheimer, you got Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, you got Meg 2. You got those four movies fighting it out. Barbie on top, obviously, but they're all like fighting for box office dollars. So there's already enough movies out there, and this movie is definitely gonna get squeezed out because of that. Because those four movies I just mentioned, they all look way more appealing than this. So yeah, so dealing with all that competition, not to mention Blue Beetle and Strays coming out next weekend, that's gonna cause more problems. So yeah, just a lot of competition right now, overall competition, and that's a con. So that's con number four, I think. And I guess another con is that we already had a Dracula esque movie this year, Renfield. Anyone remember that? I mean, yes, that was about Dracula's assistant, but Dracula was still present in the movie, and that Dracula was Nick Cage. So we already had a Dracula movie earlier in the year. Why do we need another one from like a different angle? Like, why? I don't understand. It's just weird. And when it comes to Dracula, I guess vampire movies. I guess. What do we have? Yeah, I already mentioned Renfield, which was a total bomb. What else do we have? The Invitation, Morbius, yes. Like, we can count that. I'm gonna exclude the Hotel Transylvania movies and the Twilight movies. I don't think I don't think those are quite comparable here. When it comes to like actual Dracula stuff, I guess I don't think Underworld counts either. Like actual Dracula stuff. Dracula Untold just did meh, hard, like very mediocre business. This is a movie I didn't even like when it released. Um, Abraham Lincoln Vampire. I don't know. Dark Shadows. Both of those movies they didn't do very well financially. Fright Night, that was a bust. Vampires suck. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it's a. I'm getting flashbacks to that movie. That whole movie was just a shitty parody of Twilight. It was awful. um, yeah, most vampire movies they don't do that great historically. I mean, I guess specifically the Dracula movies. The only one that I think did where is it? Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like that did well. I feel like that's the only one here. Maybe Interview with a Vampire, I guess. But yeah, most of these vampire movies they just don't do well. I'm not sure why exactly, but they just a good amount of them don't click. So yeah, I feel like Dracula's presence. Sure, that might be a positive for like some horror fans, but not all horror fans. So I say Dracula's presence to an extent is like both a positive and a negative. So maybe that's more of a middle ground thing. So I'm gonna label it as a middle ground thing. I guess one last con is the preview numbers. They're 750K. So comparing this to something else, okay. Uh, Renfield. That's one. Okay. There it is. And I guess the invitation, I guess that's fair. The invitation from last year, last August. So Renfield, let's look at that first because it's more recent. Renfield had a Thursday preview of 900,000. That only opened with 8 million. So that's very much not a good sign. um, and the invitation that had a Thursday preview of 775,000, open with 6.8 million. So I think you can see these numbers are anything but ideal. um, so Last Voyage of Demeter is worse than both of these movies. So yeah, so obviously weak preview numbers, that's a con. And I guess I could also mention like the weak theater count for this. I mean, it's only opening like 2,000, 2,700 theaters, which is like really low for like a studio film. Like this is from Universal, okay? It's not like it's from A24 or something. Like this is from like a big studio. So the fact that they're putting in this few theaters tells me that they do not care at all. They have no faith in this thing. So yeah, that weak theater count just tells me all I need to know. So that's a con. And I think that's it. So opening weekend, uh, I'm gonna say 6 million, maybe 6 to 7 million. I think that's fair. And it's total. I don't see this getting past 20 million. I see this having a short life. Um, so less than 20 million total, which is really embarrassing for a movie that cost $45 million. But I mean, this movie was always doomed to fail. It was definitely DOA. So yeah, that's it for that. That's it for the weekend. I know, very slow, boring weekend. But next week will be a little different. It'll be a little more exciting. We got Blue Beetle and we got Strays. I don't know if either of these movies are gonna do well. Blue Beetle, that has to deal with the DCEU and just the shithole it's become. And Strays, well, I'm not sure. That's a real wild card right there. I don't know how that'll do. But both of these both of these movies, they will be interesting to talk about. So stay tuned for those videos next week. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? Got playlists on the homepage. All previous prediction videos I made this year. You want to watch any of those or the ones or any of the ones I've done the past few years? You can go right ahead. There's also the Cancel series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I covered Demeter once, one time, I think. Yes, one time, or maybe twice. Was it twice? I don't remember. Last Voyage. No, I think it was one. Yeah, it was once. Yeah, only one time. And it was episode 128. I talked about it alongside let's see, Indiana Jones 5. It didn't have a name yet. Dial of Destiny. It didn't have that name yet. But I talked about Indiana Jones 5 and Smile, which announced its existence via a trailer in front of Top Gun Maverick. And that got its date and whatnot. So yeah, I talked about Last Voyage with those two movies. So if you want to watch that episode or any other ones I've done, I've done 200. So if you want to watch any of them from beginning to now, I highly encourage you, binge them all from beginning to now. I highly encourage you to do that, so go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. I just did July recap a few days ago. August recap will come out the first week of September after Equalizer 3 releases. My summer recap will be 3 parts. It will I decided to label those 3 videos as the non-losers, the small losers, and the big losers. As you can see, a very negative tone, but it's kind of how I feel about summer. Like, it was kind of just depressing as all hell. Even with the hits we've gotten, it was very depressing. So yeah, stay tuned for those videos. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.